subscribe.
We've talked about Street Fighter EX quite frequently on this channel, and today we're doing it again, but this time focusing on a specific character. But if you don't know, and if you're new to the channel, Street Fighter EX is basically a spin-off game developed in 1996 by a team of former Capcom devs known as Arika. This new gaming company had the task to co-develop a spin-off Street Fighter game to not only give Capcom and Street Fighter fans an idea of what a Street Fighter game will look like in 3D, but also putting their name on the map and letting people know that Arika is here to stay. Street Fighter EX was basically Capcom giving Arika like a housewarming gift, and it followed with a lot of themes that previous Street Fighter games had as well. They obviously tried to keep the Street Fighter mechanics with gameplay and the amount of characters, and just with how the game operates. However, there is one trope that I'm glad they kept, and that is the main character trope. Okay, that sounds basic. I feel like every game has a main character, but Street Fighter does it a little differently. You see, if you don't know, Street Fighter usually does this thing where they have a main character alongside Ryu. In Street Fighter 1, it was Joe. In Street Fighter Alpha, it was Charlie. In Street Fighter 6, it was Luke. Street Fighter 4 was Abel. Rashid in Street Fighter 5, and you get the gist. So basically, somebody else that has a really important focal point to the story alongside Ryu. In Street Fighter EX, it was actually a female character, her name being Hokuto, and the best part about her is that she's basically a female Ryu. Now you're probably wondering, hey, that's an interminably wild assumption. Why the hell is she like Ryu? Please explain. Calm down, I'm about to explain. Hokuto was first introduced in the first EX game and has made an appearance in every single iteration of the EX series. She was born in Japan to the Mizugami family, a family that held a strong tradition in the arts of Kobujutsu. If you're not familiar, Kobujutsu is the weapon system of Okinawa martial arts. Hokuto was actually not even supposed to be born, crazily enough. She was born out of a fling between a woman from the Mizugami house and a man from the Branch family. That woman being like the head woman of the Mizugami house. I'm not too sure if the two were publicly confirmed to be in a relationship or someone ever found out. I don't think so, but I know in Japan, marrying outside of wedlock is very looked down upon. I think like 3% of Japanese people have kids pre-marriage compared to like 40% here in the US. Her original name is actually Shirase, and her mom decides to keep her and raise her as the sister of her son, Kairi, in order to hide the affair, I guess. Jeez, man, this is messy as hell. Oh my goodness. After Nanase, Hokuto's younger sister, was born, the two trained martial arts together real hard, and their relationship was very, very good as sisters. They were very close to each other and they bonded very well. The same can be said about Kairi and Hokuto, but I'll get into that in a bit. Being a child born out of wedlock, things were going okay for Hokuto and Nanase. However, this wasn't the case for Hokuto's mother and the upper heads at the Mizugami clan, as faith would unfortunately divide the family. The branch families of the Mizugami clan did not appreciate the physical and mental abuse that the leaders of the clan were showcasing to them throughout these years. Additionally, with Hokuto resenting her confusing ancestry, she slowly started to create an alter ego during her teenage years. This alter ego had one purpose: completely destroying the Mizugami clan. And one of the best ways of doing it is by killing the noble leader's son, Kairi. This story just took a crazy turn. Oh my god! On a stormy night, the leaders of the Mizugami clan were all on the boat together. I don't know why, honestly, they were just on a boat together. I guess they were going somewhere. And out of nowhere, Hokuto's alter ego throws Kairi into the ocean for no reason. The story got really confusing after this, so y'all gotta bear with me. Remember when I said that the branch families don't like the heads of the Mizugami clans? From my research of what I've read, because I got a lot of different, I guess, reasonings, I just theorized that Hokuto was put on a spell by her biological father, who, mind you, is part of those branch families, to kill Kairi every time they came into contact with one another. Her mission was basically every time she saw Kairi, she had to kill him. The Mizugami elders witnessed this and instate her with the seal of blood, which erases her memory of her brother completely out of her mind in an attempt to prevent her from doing this to anyone in the future. Hokuto later finds out through her stepfather that Kairi is actually alive and makes it her mission to find her. But don't forget, her memory of him is erased fully from her mind, so Kairi is just the mythical person in her. She doesn't know what he looks like, she doesn't know what she's chasing, she doesn't really know what's going on, but she just knows that she has to find this person in order to fully find herself. She has to find them to find herself. Oh my god. After the whole journey, she actually comes across Kairi again. The seal of blood that was embedded in her after the first attempt to murder Kairi actually breaks, and Bloody Hokuto is born, and her whole purpose is to ravage and kill her brother. Also, Bloody Hokuto is actually a playable character in the first EX game as well. All you gotta do is just unlock her. So that's basically her storyline. However, she does have another storyline. I think the one that we got is canon to the actual EX storyline, but this one was the one that we were supposed to get prior to unlocking Bloody Hokuto in the first game. I think. I don't know. I'm making the theory. I don't even know what it is at this point. Basically, in this timeline, Hokuto and all her siblings all grew up in the Bushin clan, which is where her biological father is from, funnily enough. They all would train together in harmony. However, Hokuto noticed that Kairi was acting a little strange. On her 17th birthday, bro just disappears. And I guess her family just accepts it. I don't know. They vow not to tell her until she becomes a master Bushin ninja. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. The elders tell her that Kairi has taken the way of the Shura, which basically means he's been practicing evil techniques. That's what the Shura means in Street Fighter. That's like Akuma's fighting style. The actual meaning, or at least what I can find close to this context, is that they enjoy killing so much that they don't even see it as evil. Why does he do this? I have no idea. It makes no sense at this point. Like, I guess he just wants power or something like that. Real basic. So she goes out to find them. Also, in the first story, after he was dumped in the ocean by Hokuto, Kairi also starts to take a path for the Shura as well, just like in this story. That's why his hair is black in the first EX game, because the action of him getting dumped into the ocean happens in the first EX game, and then EX2 is when his hair becomes white, and every other game after that. Hokuto in this storyline finally finds her brother, Kairi, but he is no longer the version of him that she grew up with, having been corrupted by the dark power of a renegade warrior named Akuma. Oh my god, guys, you know who that is! Akuma is always behind something. I don't even think it's in this game. After the battle, Akuma took control of Hokuto as well, leaving their younger sister, Nanase, as their only hope. But that's for that storyline. That's the completely different storyline that we're going over. This shit don't make a lick of sense. Why are the adults just letting this happen? Who exactly are her parents? Do they know about the affair? Does she know about the affair himself, Hokuto? They wrote the shit to a wall. I don't know which one is canon. I'll let y'all decide in the comments. There's actually a little bit more lore that correlates with both stories in the Street Fighter EX spiritual successor, Fighting EX Slayer. In Fighting EX Slayer, there is a character named Shirase, who, if you've been paying attention to, is Hokuto's birth name. Shirase, the main villain of the Fighting EX Slayer series, is actually Hokuto after being completely consumed by the demon that was sealed inside her by the Seal of Blood. So basically, like if Bloody Hokuto fully took over. The siblings return. The whole family's back. All the characters are back. Nanase, Kairi, and Hokuto. Nanase, Kairi, and Hokuto are back. And Shirase's also back as well. What? But how is that possible? How is Hokuto back if she's also Shirase? Also, just found out there's a character in Fighter EX Slayer that's called Sanane. Sanane? Really? Sanane? Does Nanase have an alter ego too? Like, what is going on? You're not gonna believe this. Kairi is pretty much the same in Fighting EX Slayer. We concluded that Shirase is Hokuto from Street Fighter EX with the broken seal of blood. I thought Hokuto was just a different form of her, but apparently this Hokuto in Fighting EX Slayer is actually Nanase. In Fighting EX Slayer, Shirase actually erases Nanase's memory fully, and she just wants her to live a normal life. She goes back into the Mizugami clan and just becomes Hokuto. So if the OG Hokuto is Shirase and Nanase is this current version of Hokuto, who the fuck is this? Is this just some random girl they found in the street that just so happens to look like Nanase? To answer that question, yes it is. That's I shit you not, that's literally the reasoning. Alright bro, I'm tired of Hokuto's confusing ass lore. Let's get on with the other stuff, okay? Hokuto fights using the Mizugami Ryu Kobujutsu, a Japanese martial art that uses traditional weapons like the Naginata and hand fans. In Fighting EX Slayer, Nanase uses this fighting style as well, while disguises her. Nanase's original staff fighting style, Bojutsu, is given to Sanane. Oh my goodness, this shit is getting even more confusing! Hokuto's playstyle is composed of attacking whilst advancing forward, allowing her to close the distance of opponents while simultaneously ducking under their mid and high aiming strikes. She can also super cancel her own attacks to fake out an opponent, making her a very quick character to go up against. Very tricky as well. I would say B to A tier level. I'm not even joking. One of her guard break moves, Bukyaku-zan, is also a reverse electricity punch that, of course, breaks the guard. In fact, I love how most of her moveset keeps true to the Kobujutsu system, using various weapons with weapon-like powers throughout their combos. This one specifically is my favorite. My bad, y'all. This video has been going on. You probably clicked on this video to wonder why is she like the female Ryu. I got you. I'll let you know. Hokuto and Ryu both do the whole I have to find this evil energy ass journey. A good portion of their storyline. For Ryu, it's mastering his martial arts and confronting his Satsui no Haro, the dark energy that slowly consumes him. Same with Hokuto, with the broken seal of blood, as the only way of managing this is by disconnecting her from her brother fully. Although Hokuto isn't necessarily a Shoto like Ryu and Ken and a lot of other Street Fighter characters, she does have quite a few hypers with fire-based techniques that are pretty common with Shoto style fighters. The fact that they both wear a traditional Japanese gi is low-key reach. But off topic, Hokuto's kimono in Street Fighter EX2 is top tier. Honestly, I like it better than her original training gi. Outside of when she becomes Bloody Hokuto, she's usually pretty calm and collected, mature, noble. She really keeps to herself. She's very interesting. I mean, just look at her face, bro. I ain't never seen this bitch smile. Not even crack a smile. The whole headband thing, that might also be a reach on my bad. The whole main character thing, having an evil counterpart within them, Bloody Hokuto for Hokuto, and evil Ryu for Ryu. They're pretty similar, and she's basically the Ryu of this Street Fight. You know, they're both pretty monotone. They both have very similar ways of training. They're both Japanese. And, you know, they're both fighting the darkness within them. Oh, the thing is that Ryu's actually in the series, and they actually have a pretty decent relationship, him and Hokuto. They've actually interacted canonically in the EX series. Ryu and Hokuto are both from Japan, and he would frequently visit Hokuto in her dojo in order to train. Not really sure how deep their friendship goes to the point where they bond over their darkness within them, but I know Hokuto really enjoyed training with Ryu. At one point, she thought Ryu was her older brother during her search for Kairi, as to how similar they were to one another. She also meets Ryu's best friend, Ken. But Hokuto doesn't like him at first. Blonde American man coming to your dojo all unannounced. History has taught me a lot of things. Hokuto, it's okay that you got your guard up. Ryu explains to Hokuto that Ken is his best friend, and she apologizes. The two actually end up fighting each other, and Ken lost. Fun fact, in the Street Fighter EX2 drama CD, Ken helps Hokuto set up her computer and internet. Oh yeah, I forgot, she lived in the middle of the woods. She probably don't have no internet, no Wi-Fi, no nothing. Now she can start her streaming career. Hokuto is by far the Street Fighter EX character with the most lore. Looking through all the characters, I've never seen anyone with a story as detailed as well as confusing as hers in this game, and I'm glad I was able to cover her. Shout out to Brian C7094 for the character requests. If you guys want to see characters specifically gone over in this channel, just like I said, follow his lead. Leave a comment, let me know who you want me to talk about next. Also, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. Let me know your thoughts on Hokuto and her weird ass family. And if I sound a little groggy, it's because I'm not really feeling good right now. I'm having like a really bad sinuses. That's why I sound like I'm speaking through my mouth only. So I apologize for that. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I hope you guys stay tuned for more.